last Saturday morning. I thought, you want to know what would be fun? Making homemade donuts. Never done it before. Let's do it. I had got some strong bread flour and measured out about 200 grams of that into a bowl. Now, the recipe said to sift. I didn't. You make your decisions based on what you want to make. And then wanted 15 grams of sugar, a pinch of salt, so I put in some, 1 gram it looks like, and then a packet of dry yeast is about 7 grams. Then it wanted me to melt butter in a pan with some milk, but not to a point where it was hot, just to a point where it was melted, so I still should be able to stick my finger in it and not feel any heat. And I also put in some vanilla, because it said to. And then when that was melted but not hot, I added an egg to it, and then mixed it up. I don't know if this was necessary to do in the pot or anything, but that's kind of how the recipe read, so it's what I did. And then I made a hole in the middle of my dry stuff, and then I mixed it up with a wooden spoon. It was a very, very wet dough, so I turned it out onto a floured surface, flour with the same extra strong bread flour, and then kneaded it for about 15 minutes. Thinking back, I could have put this into my mixer and put the dough hook on, and then I would have had way less effort and cleanup. But at 6 in the morning, it's actually 5 when I started. I wasn't thinking quite straight, Didn't remember I had a mixer, etc. After you've kneaded this, you want it to bounce back a little bit. I think I over kneaded mine because it bounced back more better. It bounced back more and also better earlier, but I just kept kneading it because I felt like it hadn't been 15 minutes. And then I put it in an oiled bowl and put some plastic wrap loosely on it. It doubled in size. I punched it back down. This was after an hour. And then it said to break it into little balls and then put them on a little sheet with plastic wrap and let them sit for an hour. Now, at this point, the dough wasn't coming back together. I don't know why it wasn't coming back together. I'm not an expert on donuts, but it wasn't coming back together. Which is fine. I put out all my little balls. I let them sit. They got a little bit bigger. I then made a hole in the middle to make little ring donuts and kind of moved them around and tried to fit them together. And then I fried them in some vegetable oil that was at a really warm temperature. I flipped them halfway, made sure they were golden, and then I coated some in a cinnamon and sugar mix, and I coated others in a glaze that at first was a bit too thick. I added a bit more milk to it, so it was runny. And though they looked a little bit wild, the kids really enjoyed them. I mean, who's not going to enjoy a little warm donut for breakfast? And it was quite fun to make in the end, just a little Saturday morning challenge. Here's me attempting to actually get some glaze on and realizing that it's way too thick and I need to add more milk to it. So, take 2. In my pajamas. But it was a very fun experiment. Have you ever made donuts? Do you have a better recipe than mine? How do we make donuts with jam in the middle? Who knows? Who knows?